American players on the team, but like other than like maybe no, like there's not really anybody else that I feel like like if let's say Joseph Woll had a season like Dustin Wolf, I probably would have said Joseph Woll, but with the way the season ended and his injury stuff, like I feel like there's a conversation.
One goalie.
Yeah,
but if you were going to take one of the Leaf goaltenders, it probably would have been
Stolarz. I probably would have done Stolarz as my first pick. Is that kind of crazy, though, that we're fighting about the 4th, 5th, 6th goalies on the Team USA while Canada has guys that would have been 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th options on Team USA?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, we got Aiden Hill, got Jordan Bennington and Samuel Montembeault. I would take Anthony Stolarz over both Montembeault and Hill all day long. Absolutely. And he wasn't even an invite to U.S. camp. Just goes to show. It's like Dustin Hill or Dustin Wolf over both of those players as well, probably, to be honest with you. Any big surprises to you, though, that was invited to orientation camp? We'll get to some other snubs in a second. But when you were looking at the list, did anyone stick out to you as, oh, wow, really?
I felt like Connor Garland was a little surprising just because, he's a decent player for Vancouver, but like Brock Besser didn't get picked. Like he got out of all the Vancouver players to think of, Connor Garland wouldn't have been the guy I would have picked from amongst the U.S. players. Like, it would have probably been Besser over him.
Yeah. I wonder how much of that has to do with, like, style of play and the role. Like, Connor Garland, I think you could throw on the 4th line and be perfectly fine with his two-way tenacity. Whereas Brock Besser, it's like, well, we already kind of have guys who are going to dominate the puck and shoot the puck. Not sure if that's a guy that they need necessarily.
Exactly, right? Like, there's a reason why guys like Shane Pinto are there, because that's what he does. Like Frank Nazar, I think, like, decent player, but
that was the biggest surprise to me. Frank Nazar was the biggest surprise to me. Like, he's in Chicago. If people didn't even know who that was, he's a Chicago Blackhawks draft pick from a couple of years ago, and right now he's like the guy who's sitting shotgun next to Connor Bedard, and I guess they're hoping that those two together can have a great season for Chicago. And if that's the case, maybe he's someone in a couple of years who could be, a thought for 2030. But there's no shot that Frank Nazar is making this 2026 roster. No chance. And I was quite surprised to even see his name get put on this list. Especially, you mentioned a guy like Brock Besser not making it. Alex DeBrincat was not put on this list. So there's a couple of guys where I really kind of sat there and said, oh, really? Frank Nazar over him? Over that guy? Yeah, that one to me was probably the most surprising, I think.
Yeah, like you've already brought up Demko. A lot of people were surprised on that. I saw a lot of upset Montreal Canadiens fans, though.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. We're still talking surprises. We'll get to snubs in a moment. I purposely left that guy's name off the list so we could talk about it in a moment.
Surprise. Like Jackson Lacombe, I know he's an emerging player, but that was a bit surprising too. People were like, why? Like, people were surprised about Seth Jones. I'm like, why? The guy was a stud.
Just won a Stanley Cup. He was great. Yeah.
He was the reason why, like, if Florida didn't have Seth Jones, if they didn't make that Seth Jones trade, they're not winning the Stanley Cup, in my opinion.
It's possible. He was big in that Toronto series. I can tell you that. I can tell you Leaf fans understand why Seth Jones was invited here.
What are your thoughts on Alex Vlasic?
See, I like Alex Vlasic, but he's not a guy who's going to make Team USA. For me, I think it's a good player to bring so that he has the experience, a guy that can rub off, playing next to the Quinn Hugheses, the Charlie McAvoys, the McDonald's, the Jacob Slavins of the world. But he's not there yet. He's not one of the top 8 defensemen, and that's what we expect. 25 players will be named to Team USA. Typically, it works out to 14 forwards, 8 defensemen, 3 goalies. Vlasic's not one of the best 8 defensemen in America. He's just not. So he won't be on that list. Neither will Jackson Lacombe, who was another guy that was, I guess, a surprise. But you were about to allude to him, the biggest snub on this list, and the one that got a lot of pub online for it. Would you like to announce the name that will not be at this orientation camp for the Americans?
Yeah, I mean, that's the guy who's the reigning Calder Trophy winner, Lane Hudson.
Yeah. No Lane Hudson at the camp. He had 66 points as a rookie last year. You're not going to give him an opportunity to see what he can do? Get him into your system? And, like, this is a guy who has played the World Championships. He's played, at the under-18s. He's played at the World Juniors. Like, why wouldn't you want Lane Hudson, who's played in the American program, came up through, the U.S. national team, played in the NCAA, like he's been an American through and through with his hockey development. You don't want to put that on display at this tournament? I was really surprised not to see Lane Hudson here. I thought he would have been a near lock, not to make the team, but to at least be at the camp.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling a little bit, just because we know that, in the Olympics you want game breakers, and he's a guy that can provide that. I know we don't want to give too much love for our Montreal Canadiens player, but like, it was really good. Like, he adds a different dimension to that Canadiens team that they just have not had. So yeah, that was a surprising one for Lane Hudson not to get in there, because I mean, I understand you don't want to have all similar type of defensemen. Like, you do have some offensively dynamic players like Quinn Hughes. You got Adam Fox. You got
but like Jackson Lacombe, like that was a conversation they had in the boardroom. Do we go Lane Hudson or do we go Jackson Lacombe? Right? And they obviously decided let's invite Lacombe. Like, they're both very similar defensemen, and they went with Lacombe. It to me bizarre. Now, granted, again, I guess we should qualify that maybe Hudson declined. Maybe he's nursing an injury, or he's got something else going on and he's unable to attend. I suppose that is possible. But I would love to hear the thought process here if he was left off the camp roster. It's just kind of perplexing to me after the year that he had.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's perplexing for that reason. I doubt that he would have said no to Team USA if they offered him that opportunity. Also, like, we brought him up. We didn't really talk about the Brinkett. Like, guy is still a pretty good goal scorer. Like,
yeah,
I know Patrick Kane has the experience, and he's got, it's Patty Kane. I understand it, but like, Alex DeBrincat is probably right now in a better position to provide you a bit more, right?
Yeah, I'm just like, you're looking at it and you just got so many guys, and again, maybe like you're having that conversation. Well, do we invite DeBrincat or Cole Caulfield? Because they're both very similar guys, right? Undersized wingers who are gonna, be power play merchants and score some goals for you. We need to bring one of them, because which one? And they obviously elected to go with Cole Caulfield. So that's the only possible explanation I have for